we are up to quick ratio. So we're still doing liquidity ratios, which is how readily are we going to be able to provide cash to take care of our bills. Okay, that's all you really have to think about for liquidity ratios. And I probably should have said that earlier. I apologize. It's going to be concerned with a lot of current liabilities because that's the amount of money that's due this year. So quick ratio, think snap of the finger, real quick. Okay, so we spoke about current ratio, and we have more of a relaxed attitude towards our liabilities here because we're saying, hey, look, we have a bunch of stuff that we can sell within the year if we really need the cash, right? But it's all like by the beach, very relaxed. All you have to do is very simple math. You take your current assets and you divide it by your current liabilities. But quick ratio, there's a little bit more action to it. Okay, it's all right. We're not fools. We're going to lend you some money. But we need to know, if we snap our fingers, how ready are you to pay your bills? Okay, business completely stops. It's Armageddon outside, but you still owe us money because guess what? Once some superhero saves the day, you're still going to owe us a bunch of money. Your business might not be in tip-top shape in time, but you are still going to be legally obligated to take care of your bills. So what is quick ratio, snap of the finger, going to take a look at? It's going to be your current assets, all those things that you have that you plan on selling or you may sell within the year, those liquid assets, minus inventory. Now, why would we subtract inventory? Because Armageddon. I think Armageddon, it may strike. So yes, you intended to sell all this stuff, but there's no more business, all right? The aliens have taken over. You can't, no one's gonna come shop, with their children and their fiancés and everyone they love at your store. They're worried, they're at home. So everything that you planned on selling, they're going to take it it's out of the picture now. They want to know, if we need cash right now, will you be able to pay all your bills and us, especially for new vendors or new lenders, I should say, people that we're going to borrow money from. So it's like worst case scenario. So this is called the acid test. All right, I'm going to show you this formula because that's what you're going to see in a lot of your textbooks. But what we're going to work on is the more intuitive quick ratio. The one where if I was a banker, what would I be considering? Okay, I would only really care about your cash, number one. Cash. And that's, if I snap my fingers and I need to get paid, you'd have to dip in some cash, right? It's ready money. Okay, and I would also be taking a look at your securities. So right now, stocks, if you own any stocks in any company, you can go on TD Ameritrade or however you choose and sell it and get the money in your bank account by tomorrow. Snap of the finger. All right, even though business is shut down, you're able to access that cash right away. Or your cash equivalents. Even if I have money in another currency, it's still money. And trust me, if I give it to a bank, if there's no other way for them to collect their money, they're going to take that cash equivalent. Because it might as well be cash. All they have to do is go through an extra step of purchasing the dollar. Okay? Like T-bills, for example. They're guaranteed the United States is not going to default on a T-bill. I mean, it's one of those things where logically you want to say, hey, there's a chance that the United States is not going to pay, but we know that, but no one really believes it. If the United States stops paying its bills, then I don't even know what to say. All right, so cash and securities or cash equivalents, all right? And then accounts receivable. So people owe you money. So they've already paid for stuff. You've delivered a good. Okay? So eventually you're going to if they swipe the credit card, you're going to contact the bank and get your money. All right? So an accounts receivable. So this is what I like to use for my asset tests, okay? So this, in case you're taking an exam, it's very simple. Look for the current asset. If your professor tries to trick you and says, we have prepaid expenses, we have supplies, we have cash equivalents, we have cash, you just add them all up. Anything that you would consider current assets, you would add up, and then you would take out the inventory. You just would not include inventory. And then you would divide by your current liabilities. That's your asset test, your quick ratio. But I am not worried about you passing exams right now. We are partners. We need to think realistically, think in things that are actionable. Because guess what? Inventory, if Armageddon strikes, we may not be able to sell any of that stuff anymore. But guess what? Our prepaid expenses, yeah, we have a claim to it, but, chances that we're going to get that back, if Armageddon doesn't strike, yes, we're going to still use our rent. We're still going to use up those bills that we paid for ahead of time. Our supplies, for example. Who's going to want to buy our supplies from us? How much are we even going to sell it for? Yes, we paid a certain amount for it, but why not just go to your vendor that gave you those supplies and purchase it for that price as opposed to the price you want to give me? So there are a lot of current assets that if you snapped your finger, I wouldn't be able to get rid of and liquidate. So that's why I like to focus on the things that I can actually count on to receive cash, okay? So do you understand? Hopefully you understand why I focus on cash, my securities, or my cash equivalents, and my accounts receivable. These are practically guaranteed to put cash in my pocket. Cash I already have. This I could transfer within a day, snap of my finger, quick ratio, all right? Acid test. And accounts receivable, I've already earned this money. This person just owes it to me. Okay, and then we divide by our current liabilities. So every time you think quick ratio, think, snap my finger, Armageddon strikes, I need to pay right now. This is what your bank should be looking at. Okay, and it's a ratio. So they're going to look at all the money you owe. And since we are the M&M company, yes, I'm still going to use that as my company example, even though it's very far-fetched and probably hard for you to, put in your mind and paint a picture of. But I just have to prove a point that he's the best rapper ever. All right, so we go. Let's see our current liabilities right now. It's modest. We're disciplined, okay? We come from, we've been schooled in the Asian way of running a business. And I say Asian because I really admired the way Singapore, especially Singapore, I love their business approach, okay? Do I wish it had a little bit more democracy involved in it, like American standard? Maybe. But just the discipline that they have towards business, I believe a lot of people should take example for. Don't get angry and go, well, why don't you go live there? No, America, this is the best. I agree with America, but I think there are things we can learn from other places. All right. So the discipline, we're very disciplined. Okay. So I don't know why I said Asian, because Japanese, I don't really like their fiscal policy. Forget the fiscal policy. I don't really like their monetary policy there at all. So let's just say Singapore. I don't want to. Yeah, just Singapore. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to think China. I don't really like their approach either. Just Singapore. And all right, that's it. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to run down a list of all the Asian countries just to prove a point. So, all right, let's go to our current liability. Let's say it's very disciplined. $10,000 is what we owe for this year. Cash, we have $5,000. Let's say. Don't worry, we're very smart. We're going to make that money. It's gonna rise like within the next 2 or 3 years. I can't believe I just said like. Okay. Securities. Things that might as well be cash. Let's say another $5,000. And people owe us $5,000 for services or goods we've already delivered. So that's just 15. Why would I say we're really disciplined and then choose such a small amount of money on top? Wow, jeez Louise, this is not my shining moment. But look, this is the fun of it, okay? We cannot fudge the numbers, okay? We have to just deal with whatever's in front of us. I'm not going to change my cash, securities, and accounts receivable just because I don't like them all of a sudden. It is what it is. It is the numbers I put down. So we'll cancel this, and we'll say this is 3, this is 2. Obviously, just dividing 5 into both of them. So it's 3-2. In our quick ratio, this basically says for every $2 that is due with this year, we're able to provide $3 at the snap of a finger. Like if everything was to stop right now, we'd still be able to provide $3. That's great. You know what? I was making fun of myself here, saying I picked really low numbers, but this is actually quite excellent, because if you think about it, there's still inventories that I can have. There's still prepaid expenses. There's still supplies. There are other current assets that I can build up. But this is great because we have cash, ready money, securities, which is our cash equivalents, basically more ready money, and services that we've already delivered, and people owe us money. So we are expecting more ready money. This is great. This is actually very reasonable. This is what a lot of companies would love to have. For every $2 that I owe this year, that it's due within the year. It doesn't have to be next month, within the year. I have $3 that I could provide right now at the snap of a finger. My quick ratio, my acid test, that's great. All right, that's very well disciplined. All right, this is, yes, and I apologize to anyone I may have offended, because obviously we live in a very, very politically correct society. Are we allowed to still say Asian? I hope so, because I think people are starting to get carried away with what's politically correct or not. Especially, remember that whole t-shirt thing with the guy that landed a spaceship, like a probe or whatever it's called, on a comet, and everyone gave him crap for it because of his t-shirt. I thought that was ridiculous. It was a cartoon shirt at that point. All right, so basically I'm letting you know why I'm worried about using the word Asian, because I have no idea what's up or down anymore in society. I just know that quick ratio, snap of a finger, if everything was to stop right now, can you provide cash to settle all your bills that are due this year? 3-2 is great. This is the one I like. I like to focus on cash, securities, and accounts receivable, because if everything stops, at least I know I have these three. But overall, for your exams, I'm sorry if you're confused. This is the one you should, if you're using this to study for an exam, you should absolutely just stick to this. This is probably what's going to be in your textbook. Current assets minus inventory over current liabilities.